chess master.
Listen, our dad was a fucking G.
G. But chess pays 0.
Now, it's no secret that Andrew Tate is not a chess grandmaster, but his father was. In fact, he even played Hikaru recently. He played Hikaru's father. And he has played numerous other chess masters, and he's had a fair amount of games against them in which he won. However, he did not always play by conventional openings. In fact, he invented his own opening. And this is what we're going to be covering today. So without further ado, let's get right into it. This opening starts out like any other. e4, and then we get this weird move. Knight to f6. I'm sure many of you hate this, the Alyokin's defense. You have no idea what to do against this, and so you just push forward. It may be rare, but it's very equal. And so after e5, we get c4. Now, we're simply playing the most common moves for black here. Right, like 95% of people play knight to b6 here. And after here, we play this really weird move. a4. This is a Tate variation. As you can see, it's in the database right here. This is the opening of choice of the Tates. And so the main trap here that is immediately threatened is, you'll notice that this knight actually doesn't have any squares to move to, right? He just doesn't have anywhere to go. This is actually a threat, right? And so if he ignores this, he's going to push, and he's going to have to desperado sacrifice for a couple pawns. And we're going to be up a piece, and we're just winning. Now, say that you get an opponent who actually sees the threat of a5 here. And you'll notice in this database here, d6 is the most popular move. Almost everybody plays d6. Average rating here is about 1900, so I mean everybody plays this, right? Just d6, and now what we do here is actually a5 anyways, because now once it goes back, what we do here is we play this nice move e6, because here he has to take with the pawn, right? Because otherwise we're just going to take with check anyways. And so once he does take, that leaves this file very much open. So after here, we're just going to have a very nice little position if he decides to develop naturally, right? Just here, instead of a pawn break, and here we're just winning, and our opponent has lost so many tempos. It's plus 0.8. And this should be very much an acceptable position. But what if you are not looking for something acceptable at all? Say you're looking for a nice, fast-paced game. Well, this is what you're going to find most of the time, right? a5. Here, we're going to play a genuinely ridiculous move. The move here is rook to a3. Now, the most common move here is e6, right? Just attacking the rook, hoping, hey, maybe he won't notice, maybe I can get the queen out, if he does notice, whatever, right? Here, almost everybody plays rook to g3. Now, sure, this is an acceptable move, right? But what we actually play here is d4. Because now if he takes, we just take back. Yes, we just lost an entire rook. He can even get a full pawn back if he wants. Like, there's nothing that we really get from this, except this wonderful development here, and all these open diagonals for everything else. and we're just going to be able to put so much pressure on the king's side, and he's just not geared to castle on the queen side right now because all his pieces are trapped in by these pawns. And so that is actually enough compensation for the exchange, believe it or not. So after he castles, which is a very common move here, it's the most common move, in fact. Most people actually not see this, but Queen H5 is the best move here. Because now, even if he does play the best move, which is F5, it'd be all right. But if he attacks us, then all we do is we go right here. And after knight c6, just developing, we're just going to play knight f3. We're going to try to hop in, try and deliver this little mate here. And so generally, he'll try to stop that with this. And that's fine, that's fine. We just continue with h4. He just tries to defend, and just notice how ridiculous it is for him. Right? He can't even take here. He can't take at all. Because if he does take, we just get the bishop out, we get too much pressure, we're going to have everything in here, and it's just going to be a real clusterfuck for him, right? And so after g5, we just take here, you've moved a defender. If he takes with the rook here, then we're just going to take with the queen. And after king to h8, just running away from the check, we're going to push h6, which is actually threatening this nice little checkmate on g7. And so, of course, he's going to defend. And so we're just going to hop in with knight b5. Tries the pawn break. We are actually going to intermezzo here. If he saves the rook, we're going to go right here. After takes, he actually cannot take back because then we have this nice little fork here. No, and after all this, it's actually very likely that you'll be mating, right? Because after all this, you can force him all the way down, and he'll be mated right here. But say he does not, in fact, take. Say he does go here. What then? Well, now it's just bishop d3, and after this, let's go for a pawn break here, sacrificing another pawn. And we're just going to keep putting pressure on this. We're threatening a skewer now, actually. It says the best move is to sacrifice a knight somehow. And none of it really makes sense at all. And against most humans, you're probably going to find someone who is likely going to move the rook or something into defense. And after this, they don't want to rook, right? Probably take, and after this you take the rook anyways, because now if he takes back, then you still have this forcing idea, and you're still going to get back the exchange, and you're just going to have a very, very good endgame here, and it all comes down to tempos. And notice this knight's actually trapped here. There's just so many little complexities here. And if you really want to go for an opening that is so ridiculous, please just try the Tate variation. Maybe you'll lose a couple games, maybe you'll lose a couple hundred, who knows, but long term this will pay off a lot. Now this has been Blender Games, signing off.